Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Seek Therapy Podcast. It, it's your girl, Jasmine.
It's America.
And it's Jasmine time.
Jasmine. I'm like, Jasmine. How we doing today? How's everybody's week's been? It's been like 2 weeks since we met last.
Mhm.
What's everybody been up to? What's been your highlight? What's been your challenge?
I would say my highlight has just been, my business is continuing to expand.
Period.
Relationship is flourishing and shit. Um, so
Love
things are
it.
going. Thank you, girl. So things are going good. I don't have any complaints that I can think of. Um, and then I would just say challenges just continues to be figuring out how to create harmony and do all of the things slash deciding what I no longer need to do and need to
Mhm.
start giving to somebody else to do. And
Right.
so figuring out what that looks like. But yeah, other than that, everything's been going good.
Good. I love to hear that. I'm glad it's going good for somebody.
Oh, well, hell. What's going on with you?
Well, my challenge just has been that there's always something. Like you've heard your parents say, if it's not one thing, it's another. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Um, I was sick. Janae was sick. I saw a fucking motorcycle crash as I was driving home and the guy flew into the air. And I already have like driving anxiety, so that was just not awesome to witness. And you know me, I'm just like a trauma. That was a trauma. I just got another trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not great. And a but my highlight is that one of my students who would always be like walking the hallways and stuff like that, she came to me and was like, "Hey, it's a new semester. I'm really starting new." Like I came out into the hallway and she was coming out her classroom. I said, "Are you coming out your class?" Yes. So that has been good. My highlight continues to be the kids because I have so much to offer them and they are so lucky. If I was their age, I would have really benefited from having a me there.
Mm-hmm.
So just seeing the changes has been great for me.
Good. Can I edit my challenge? Because you just reminded me of something.
Yeah.
Y'all spent the whole 6 days in the bed. And why the hell I forget that? Um,
Oh, for your back?
Oh,
yes. But I
oh
guess
yeah,
last
no,
week
no, no.
been so good that I forgot about the damn week before. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, I spent 6 days in the bed. I could not stand up straight. I was having back spasms. I found myself crawling at one point. It was bad. I don't know what the hell was going on. But shout out to Bay. Shout out to my mama. They both came through. They took turns, um, supporting me doing shit around the house. Mama got the house clean. They came through with the love and care. They was taking care of the dog and all the things. So yes, I did have a challenge. Let me not act like the last 2 weeks were perfect because that is a fucking lie. Okay, okay, I'm back.
Ah, what about you, girl? How you been?
I've been better, to be honest. Uh, but I'm gonna say first off, the challenge for me this morning is finding out that AT&T Uverse didn't do what they were supposed to do 2 weeks ago, which was fix this internet.
Mm,
So y'all bear with me as I'm fuming inside. I'm going to start with, um, I guess, a real life challenge for me. It's just grief. I got my insurance cards from this new job in the mail on
Yay.
Friday, so
Good.
I'm excited about that. Starting the journey with finding a counselor. So I have this lady that I really want to work with, but she won't have availability until November. So it really is just a matter of, do I hold on, or do I just kind of,
You should you should
yeah,
just
just
sign
go
up
for
just to see and reach out to other people.
it? Right. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. Which, is a silver lining. And I would say a highlight for me also, Jasmine, I can relate to the fulfillment now with work. I had my first field trip with my kids on Friday, and while the other veteran teachers were stressed and getting things together, and um, I just, showed up ready to have a good time and teach them something, get them out of the classroom. It was my first field trip, obviously, not being a kid. And yeah, we had a good time. There was a moment where we were at a Buffalo Soldier exhibit, and the presenter was asking the kids, how did the Buffalo Soldiers get their names? One boy goes, the Native Americans, the Plains people gave it to them. And he turns around and goes, she taught us that.
Oh,
And I was
Oh.
like, I taught him something he used in the real world. So that was a highlight for me, knowing that as much as it's been a struggle, there have been kids, the same kid, low key crying. Just all the things that I've gone through. It's something new with them every day, but that
Mhm.
was rewarding. Like I'm impacting lives, which is something that since my cousin passed away, I've been praying about. So I'm taking the positive and the negative energy.
mhm.
I know that's right. Well, um, I just wanted to show everyone my little mug because a lot of times I'll be wanting to say that to the students. Please, you know what's going on. You know what you're doing. So I'm happy that I'm there because I can't tell them stuff like that. So shout out to you and me doing the Lord's work, working with the children, honey.
Amen.
Amen.
But also shout out to America, of course, because she's also doing the Lord's work.
No, real talk.
Oh, y'all, Father God, I just hope I see the reward, baby, because my God, Jesus, Mother God. Just, I'm here. I'm good.
They got you speaking in tongues.
Right.
But yeah,
Lock my cat
um,
outside the bathroom.
yes. I think I'm gonna get us some little mugs. What y'all think? Have a little sip, and then it'll unite us. It'll be like we in the same place.
it will be.
At the same
I
time.
like it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's say
As long as
yes.
they're as sassy as that one.
You said what?
They need to be as sassy as that one.
Oh. And this one was
Mm.
Target.
Hmm.
Bitch, am I depressed? Hmm. Okay. I
There
love a
it
little. Right. I
is.
love a little sassy.
That's what it should say.
Yes.
And then the logo somewhere small, back, bottom somewhere. But that's exactly what it should say. Just
Yeah.
remind it for us.
Because I did have that conversation
Yeah,
this week.
there we go. That's perfect. Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
Coming soon. Ooh. Um, this week I've been able to hang out with some of my friends. So I'm excited about that. But I know that America had a tweet that she wanted to share with the people.
I did. So let me start off by saying participating in this week's episode, I am doing so begrudgingly because I did not want to talk about friendships for a variety of reasons. But I saw this tweet from the girl next door slash Dr. Antoinette, and her tweet says, Black parents, please stop telling your kids that they ain't got no friends and that you are their only real friend, because they'll grow up to be just like me, a socially awkward bitch who don't trust a soul. They ain't gonna have no interpersonal skills. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, ah, this is me. Now I have interpersonal skills, but
Right.
those sometimes can be limited and a little impacted too. But that first part around being told that your parent is your only real friend, I heard that growing up. Like
Mm.
before my sister, it was me and my mama. Well, my dad was there, but it was me and my mama. And so one of the things she always told me is like, it's just me and you. It's just me and you.
Mm.
You all I got, I'm all you got. It's just us. Ain't nobody gonna look out for us. Ain't nobody gonna be there. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing. It's me and you. And then my sister came
Wow.
and she was like, it's the three of us. We all we got. And so at the time, I thought like, oh, this is beautiful. Like I have this strong family unit. It's me, my mom, and my sister, and girl, we all we got. Not realizing that then when I was interacting with people in my mind, it was like, I can't trust you. You're not really my friend. You just here. You just somebody to talk to. You like me because we're in the same class, or because
Mm.
you know I probably got the answers, or you like me because I'm slightly entertaining, or I'm gonna protect you, or whatever the case. Then when I got older, it was like, oh, you want to be my friend because I'm gonna turn up and I'm a good time and I'm gonna travel and I'm gonna spend
Mhm.
money. Not really understanding that maybe some of those people actually really like me, and maybe
Right.
some of those people actually were trustworthy, but I ain't see it because they
Mm-hmm.
want my mom or my sister. Because to
Right.
me, that's all I had. So that tweet
And
slapped me in the face, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm ready to talk about this.
yeah. And what I was gonna say is that, like, you and your mom telling you that it's just y'all two, and then having another baby is evidence right there
Mm-hmm.
that it's not just y'all two, and
Right,
that you
Mhm.
can open up to other
right,
people.
right. But at the time, I'm hearing that
Mhm.
my sister was born my sister was born the day before my birthday, but 9 years later. So her
Oh,
birthday is
wow.
December the 8th. I'm December the 9th, but technically I'm 10 years older than her. So I heard that whole time frame of like it's just
Right.
us. And then when she came, I didn't even question it. Like, you here now, bet it's the three of us. You're right, it's just us
Mm.
three. And so, but you're right. Now when I read that tweet, I really sat there for like a
Yeah.
long time with that. And I was like, well,
Mhm.
wait a second, was that true? And like, yeah, it might have seemed true on the outside, but when my sister came, we expanded. So it wasn't just the two of
Right.
us. Um,
Right.
but yeah, hmm it's been a lot of unlearning around that.
Yeah. Um, I think the theme that I can relate to you on is just unlearning, these harmful mantras, right? Because they're not meant to be harmful.
No, not at all.
The intention is not harmful,
Right,
meant to be,
right,
right? But the impact
yes,
is.
right.
And
Hmm.
so it's like parting ways with
Hmm.
a past version of yourself.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think that goes back to just, parents do the absolute best they can. I think I
Right.
talked in one episode about having a birthday party or something and people not coming when I was like 5 or 6. And that was one of the things she said. Well, you don't need people to come. You got me. I'm
Mhm.
here. I'm your friend. And we're gonna have a good time. So like it was
Mhm.
meant in those moments to be a way of soothing me and
Right.
reassuring me that like I was okay. But also
Mhm.
at 5 and 6, you can't really process like, okay, what she's doing right now is to make me feel better. This isn't a literal
Right.
meaning, right? And so
Right.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That impact.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those words are encouraging, and I can hear your mom's care
Hmm.
in those words, right? And her covering you.
Hmm.
It's when those words are internalized,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
especially at a young mind, because until really you start paying 100% your own bills and do that for more than 6 months, your parents are your North Star.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
so, of course, at 5 years old, you're not going to know.
Right.
Yeah, it's the internalizing. Well, I don't need anybody. I have my mom. I have my
Hmm.
sister. We're good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh. So, what was it like when you were growing up? Like, would you just kind of avoid
No,
being around people?
I've always had friends. Like I've always kept people around. But I
But were
think
you letting them in?
no, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. I think a majority of those friendships were pretty superficial. Like
Surface level.
and I think some part of that was, also one of the things that many black kids are taught as kids is what happens in this house stays in
Yeah.
this
Kids
house.
in the house.
And
Yeah.
so, I would go to school and like, high achieving, wada wada woo woo woo. And I'm in these classes with all the other high achieving kids, but these high achieving kids live in mansions and have these pristine family structures and family backgrounds. And I ain't had it. So
Mhm.
it would be like, okay, yeah, you're my friend at school because you see me as your equal, at least here.
Oh, wow.
I'm the only black girl in the
Mhm.
classroom at one point. So it's like, oh, I'm the token. Like I said before, I didn't know what the hell that meant, but I was a token. Y'all saw me, we were friends, it was good. But like once the school day ended, I went my way and you went your way. And so
Right.
it wasn't that deep connection of really being able to like share who we were. And I also don't know
Mhm.
how deep friendships are at five
At
and
that
six
age.
and 10 anyway. But
Right.
it was very much just a school thing. And that
Mhm.
continued probably until high school. And I think it got the connections that I had probably strengthened then, but they were still superficial. And so, like, how some people still got friends from elementary school and all of
Mhm.
that. I don't. We friends on Facebook, but like
Mm.
friends, like what I call you and talk to you, no. Would you call and talk to me? No, because at one point we moved a lot, so I transitioned a lot, and so those
Mhm.
connections I wasn't able to keep. And I don't really think
Right.
I wanted to keep them because I didn't see the value at that time in keeping them.
Right.
So that's kind of just lingered.
Mhm. And I don't want to just focus on you, but I have another
It's
question.
okay, go ahead.
What about in college?
So in college was really interesting because I went to a predominantly black high school. And at this time, I would say I was really struggling in terms of my racial identity. So this is when the contacts were, y'all try to drag the girls with the blue contacts, but this is when they had blue contacts. Um,
Okay, she
and
was in undergrad, if that helps at all.
Well, I had them in undergrad too. Let me hold on.
Okay, okay. All right, all right.
So, this is when baby had the blue contacts, and I'm at a predominantly black high school, but because of how we're situated in terms of college prep, I was still around the few white kids, white and Asian kids that were there. And so those friendships I thought at the time were deeper, but I found out they weren't. So I took them in my mind to college. I purposely sought out a predominantly white institution. I did. We can have a
Hmm.
conversation about that at a later
I'm
time.
like, I'm like, I definitely gotta know.
Because at this time, my racial identity was so skewed. Like I knew I was black, and
Mhm.
at the same time, every message that I got was around getting as far away from this blackness as possible.
Mhm.
So we got to remember, I am black, but I'm always around the white kids. The teachers are telling me how I'm different than the other black kids. I'm gonna
Mhm.
actually be somebody. I'm this, I'm that. So
Mhm.
like they were pouring into me, but not it
Right.
was in a way that was challenging the fact that I look like these kids you saying ain't gonna be
Right.
shit. So
Right.
like I was confused as fuck. So I was like, okay, I will never forget first year of high school. White teacher goes around the room and she asks people what school they going to, what college they want to go to. I hadn't even thought about it. I noticed the white kids in the front, the ones that were smart, all said, I'm going to Carolina. I said, fuck it. I'm going to say the same thing. Baby, I didn't even know where Carolina was. I ain't give a damn. Came to me and I was like, I'm going to go to Carolina. And the teacher was like UNC Chapel Hill? It's the first day of school, baby. So what you mean? How you confused? This is the honor.
Right.
This is the honors class, bitch. I'm in here too. Don't play with me. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. The boy in front of me turns around and was like, damn well them white people not gonna let you in that school.
Mhm.
Okay. Exhibit
Mhm.
A. I was determined to prove a point from that moment on. I'm going. I was focused. I remember my guidance counselor was like, "You got to go to HBCUs, girl. Fuck you. I'm going to a PWI because this white lady told me I couldn't go. So watch me work." So anyway, get to college. That to say, I got to college. So I'm at a PWI. Did not feel comfortable, accepted, welcomed at all. But then found like a little niche of like blackness a little bit, but they kind of was off from they black. I think we was all just weird as hell. Now that I look at it, like, we was just a bunch of. Hey, listen, I'm sorry, y'all. We was weird. We were weird as hell. But I found like a little niche in that, and some of them I still kind of talk to, but not. I would honestly say I don't think they really knew anything about me either.
Mm.
And I think I told you this. I had this ability to like make people feel really comfortable and tell me their whole life story, and I don't have to tell them a word. And so I think that's how my friendships have all progressed. Like I trust you to tell you everything, or they trust me to tell me everything, and I just be like, okay. But then I don't never feel fulfilled, and I'm wondering why. Well, bitch, that's why you ain't being vulnerable with me.
Right.
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 So that's a long story.
And that's what makes you a good therapist, huh?
It is. But I think that translates into these relationships and friendships, and it
Right.
shouldn't. But I
Right.
think maybe that's always been my protective measure. And I think,
Mhm.
yes, that's absolutely what makes me a great therapist, but also I think what negatively impacts me having really deep connections with people.
Right. Okay. Um, well, I guess for me, I have always been a very social butterfly, like just friends, just, homecoming queen, part of student council, like just always, you know. And but with that always came drama also.
Mm.
And so I talked to my best friend from high school. Like I talk to her all the time. That's who I'm gonna come visit in South Carolina.
Okay.
But she know me good, bad, ugly, like she's seen it all,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. So we are that's who I talk to from high school, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much. I do like communicate with people on social media, but not like, oh, we're so close. Um, from elementary school, I do have one friend that I am still close with. Like, we got engaged around the same time, we got married around the same time. No, not around the same time, but we had babies around the same time, and we're going to be taking the kids to swim class next week.
Oh,
So, like,
that's
right.
cute.
And so, yes. And we are like each other's support because this motherhood shit is, it's the most ghetto hood to be a part of.
I'm so mad at you for that.
I'm just saying, it be the trenches. Um, and so when I got to college, like I just knew I was gonna have like this lifelong friend group, like woo woo. I mean, it's five of us black folks at this white ass college, so that is pretty much the foundation, being black at the college. Right. And then it was like, oh, and you like to drink. And, I'm just now starting to drink and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, yeah, let's like drink, twerk, take over the parties and stuff like that. And whenever because I grew out of that, obviously I'll still turn up every now and then, but it's not like a priority. Like, it's not like where we finna go turn up this weekend. And so for me, whenever I got married and just kind of went through this whole transition, I feel like I had to start letting people go. as things came up, it was just like, ooh, are we really friends? Like, what am I really holding on to? And so it really came to a head when I became pregnant. When you're pregnant, you can't drink, you can't be smoking, you can't be doing nothing, right? And so, where was my invite to anything?
Mm.
Oh,
Where was like the, oh, do you want to go and do this, do that?
So you
I
got
mean,
pregnant and they stopped reaching out.
wow. Mm.
Mm.
and there was someone that I really considered to be like my best friend, right? I had changed my baby shower around to make sure that they would be there. And then they ended up not going
Mm.
because they was out doing whatever else in Atlanta instead.
Wow.
Damn.
And then tried to gaslight me like, oh, you should, it's just a baby shower. You shouldn't. I just look at it as like giving you a gift, and I'm still going to give you a gift
It's just a baby shower.
for my
Your
first
first
child
child?
and the
Right.
first friend who
And the
had a
crew to have
baby.
a baby.
Meanwhile, people are flying in for just a baby shower. So,
Right. Because that's a big moment. Ooh. And if you care, you
if
show
you
that.
care,
Yeah.
what were you going to say, America? Because the face was
Because I think that says a lot about friends and their ability to be happy for you in your new season.
Mm.
right.
Because
And I
clearly
think
he was still in Freaknik season.
right, because if you would have been having a house party or throwing a shindig and it was gonna be the biggest, littest twerk fest of insert year, niggas would have showed up. But you are
Right.
having this big life changing transition and niggas is quiet.
Crickets.
I've
Wow.
experienced that too. That's why I was like, ooh, because I'm
Mhm.
thinking, oh, mine is because I started a business and people don't think and got a house and people don't think that's important because I'm an unmarried woman, so that's not worth celebrating. But even
Right.
hearing you as a married woman with a baby say, well, damn, my friend said, well, girl, to hell with you. I'm going to Atlanta so I can twerk some.
Right.
That shit is
And then was twerking
Wow.
something.
that shit's wild,
Wow.
man. That's
Yeah.
It is very wild because I held you at a high regard that I should not
Mhm.
have. And
Yeah.
that right there was the first step in the grieving process because I just knew it was lifelong, like 80 years old, husbands
Mhm.
bringing us mimosas. Like that's what I thought it was going to be, and child, it's not.
Yeah.
And then the fact that there was never any conversation after just let me know exactly what it was. And so at one point, I was talking to Jasmine, my therapist, and I was considering reaching out because I thought we still had the same friends, but I don't really talk to anyone else in that group.
Mm.
So I was like, what even is the point? What is it that I am missing? Like if I was not getting my needs met, what's the point of reaching out? For what?
let me ask you this though. What if your
Ask me.
needs would have been being met and this person just dropped the fucking ball at this huge event? Would you have reached out?
If my needs were being met and I didn't have to ask them to check in on me while I was pregnant with my first child,
Hmm.
Well, then your needs aren't being met then.
Your needs aren't being met. Okay.
So let's say that they were meeting your needs. They were checking in on you, showing their care,
But then didn't
and
show up to the
still
baby shower.
popping ass, yeah, in Atlanta the week of,
Yeah. How would you have checked in
even though
then?
you moved your shit around.
I don't know because whatever, shit. It is what it is. They said they was going to a family reunion, and so I didn't see no nothing about a family reunion on the story, but I did see them at the day party and all that. So
Mhm.
But if they would have been present the whole 9, 10 months. And the only, and I say only loosely, it's a big deal. And they didn't show up to your baby shower. There was no conversation after that. Would you have checked in? Or do you see not coming to your baby shower as an absolute bitch is dead?
I mean, if there was no like, hey, I'm not gonna make it, whatever the case may be, then I would be like, hello, like, are you okay? What is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I think once I would hear whatever they say, because it's really not a lot that you can say, honestly.
Right.
I feel like that's pretty much missing like a wedding.
No, I agree. I agree.
So I don't know. But what I will say is that I needed to learn that before I became a mom so that I didn't introduce flaky people into Janae's life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because no,
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah.
And when I was turning 30, that is when that happened, right? Um, and I remember this year, I tweeted on my burner account, like, I just want all new friends at this point. I mean, being the one who's like, oh, y'all are doing something, it's just like,
That shit gets old.
it's fucking old. And it's like, one, like, don't say it's so hard to make plans with people when it's not. And it's the same thing as the whole I don't want a relationship. It's with you because
Yeah.
people are fucking able to do stuff,
Yes.
but they don't want to do that for you. And so take that and let that be it. Don't
Yeah.
be sitting up here having 17 conversations with somebody saying the same thing. They heard you the first time. They
Yeah.
don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Yeah.
have to keep expressing my needs and you're saying, like, okay, 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 but still doing the same shit, like, no, I'm not gonna have another conversation with you, bitch. You're unfollowed. I removed that follower.
Yeah.
We're not friends.
I love it here.
If you're watching this, you're going to notice that I am doing a lot of clapping and hitting of the fist and leaning back. And that is because I am having a visceral response to this conversation.
Yeah.
My boundaries in relationships, bro, they won. I don't give a fuck. When it come to friendships, though, my shit be a little murky. And I don't know if my shit's murky because I am low key socially awkward, or if my shit is murky because of trying to lean into like relationships as an adult. Because I know I said before, like my relationships have missed the vulnerability piece. But the ones I've made as an adult, specifically since I moved to Durham, those were very intentional. And all of those people have seen me at my motherfucking worst. They've seen me sprawled out in a motherfucking parking lot crying over a nigga. And they done seen me boss the fuck up and do all the good shit too. But what you just said about you see them doing stuff together and they don't invite you, I see that so often. Y'all stories, y'all tag in the same location. Okay, so y'all niggas together. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I wish somebody would have said something to me.
Right,
Okay, well, I guess not. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it's good. I hope everything's
right,
going with you. I see you still being a boss bitch. Well, bitch, you don't know that. You judging off some
right.
shit on Instagram. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna go out next Saturday. We're gonna hit you up. Bitch, Saturday done came and gone.
Mm,
47 motherfucking times, give or take.
right,
And like still it's fucking crickets. You have a big life event. I tweet about it, share it, text you, call you while you have the experience. I'm there. Bitch, you just need to reshare my damn story and my reels, and you can't do that.
can't. That's asking for a lot.
But if it weren't for me supporting you in this friendship, bitch, you wouldn't be doing the shit you're doing right now.
Oh, 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 oh. I want to fight you because I put you on to so much shit.
And anybody who's ever been my friend or been around me, one thing is for sure. You can't never say you left me. You can always say you left me better than what the fuck you were when
Better.
you
How
came.
about it?
You
How
always
about
have
it?
been motherfucking better than you were before you
Period.
became friends. I don't know nobody who's ever been around me and hasn't motherfucking leveled up in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's you
Period.
got your license, you graduated, you started a bomb ass job making more motherfucking money, you start hustling different, or you motherfucking living out your dreams doing the things you want to do. Bitch, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
But
You
I'm not
start
good enough
lifting
to
weights.
invite. But I'm not good enough to invite the shit.
You're not.
That's some wild
But
shit.
you're good enough to learn from. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay, y'all ready for this? Because I'm listening, I'm watching, and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say about my story too, my experiences, but not to be that person. But do you ever think if you are at a level and someone enters your life and they got up their level, that maybe in their minds you're just always a few steps ahead of them. And there's some inkling of insecurity or doubt that won't allow them to be vulnerable and say, I want and need this person in my life because not only do they level me, but they do also care. There's some kind of disconnect when y'all, not I'm not saying y'all too, but when anyone pours into relationships, and then when it's time to pour back into your cup, they over there doing
Don't
whatever.
know
You know what
how
I mean? No,
to
don't know
use.
how. Right, right.
Yes,
So yes.
yes. And I think
That
I
is
said
true.
this to myself a couple weeks ago. I said, I can't expect people to have the capacity to pour into me if they don't have the capacity to pour into themselves. And so
Right.
I think you're absolutely right. I think in I don't know if it's like a helper, and I'm not saying people was destitute and down and out, but I don't know if it's
Right.
like a helper attracting to people who need that. And then it's always this level of like, well, bitch, you got your shit together. So what you need me to pour into you for? Or you don't need me
Right.
because you're doing A,
That
B, and
part.
C. And I think that's a piece of it. And I also will say that in these adult friendships that I have, or that I thought I had, the level of insecurity was there, but I also think that insecurity quickly turned into jealousy once things
Jealousy.
continue to progress. And the
Right.
shade has been monumental. So I know
Right.
that the shade is coming from a place of insecurity and jealousy, which is
Right.
weird because to me, bitch, I want us all to win.
All, everyone. You can't do what I can do, and I don't want to do
No.
what you
And I'm
do.
gonna tell you everything I know to fucking get you there. I'm a,
Right.
I'm a. What you want to do, America? I
I'll
want to
tell.
start a business. Okay, bitch. Let me see. You need an
Let's see.
LLC. We got to do this.
Legal
We got to do that.
Zoom.
We got to do that. What we need to do?
Right.
Schedule this amount of time. I'm going to
I'm
do
going to
that.
help you. Right.
Not every woman or person has that mindset though. That
Fair.
when I'm winning, we're all gonna win,
That's fair.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
the way my mom, so I have this older cousin who I grew up an only child. I was an only child for 14 years. So very like, it's my world, cliche only child. So I have this older cousin who I don't talk to or associate anymore. But when we were growing up and she came around, I was maybe 10 when they moved from Seattle to Georgia,
Mm.
and she has an older sister. So she would do things like dress like me, or like our grandma would get us kind of sort of matching stuff. So when I put mine on, she would put, and I'm like, oh, like what is happening? Like
Yeah.
what is this? Like, let me do me. And my mom
Mm-hmm.
had to like teach me that, you know, anyone that's with you needs to, like, don't ever let your girl leave the house looking crazy. And like, don't let her leave looking a two and you look a 10. Everybody in the
Oh.
group is on point. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to not look at it individually, or you're coming for me, or this is mine, things like that. And that's not necessarily a lesson that everyone gets, A. And then two, there are a lot of grown ass women who still have mommy issue insecurities that aren't dealt with, and relating issues with other women.
Mm-hmm.
There's some of us out here, and I am with you. There's three of us right here at least that like I just don't view you as competition.
Not at
And
all.
if I'm your friend,
Right.
I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here to flourish with you.
Right.
Not
Period.
yeah, that's not something that everyone has. And so
Yeah.
I wonder if we also, because there's things in your story, America, that we have in common. There's things in
Mhm.
your story, Jasmine, we have in common. And I'm wondering if one of the things we also have in common is that sometimes these insecure women end up in our friend groups. And as we're trying to like whoop, 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 pump them up, all the
Mm-hmm.
while their gears are clicking the opposite direction.
Men
The
too,
ones
not just
that
women.
they want, they
Right.
get.
Right.
Because the majority of my friend group was men for a while. So I'm talking about niggas too.
Oh,
And heterosexual or a mix? Unknown. But yeah, so I remember tweeting that on my burner account, and that's crazy that I had to have a burner account because if I said what I wanted to say, then that would start problems. um so, I said that, and then I did a vision board this year, and I put like something about friends and girl bosses and just like having a good, solid group of friends. Because after having that baby shower fiasco, like I was just over it. After having had the same conversations with people not changing their behavior, like I was through. I was like, what am I holding on to history at this point? And I still have the memories, and the photos that I did keep that I look good in and cropped you out of.
you're fucking crazy.
uh I want you gone. Like that's how I deal with things. I'm like, there's no sense in this. So away you
You
go.
said something there that I always have an issue with.
What?
And I had this conversation the other day with my sister. I said, there's one friendship in particular that right now I'm questioning because our conversation, our communication isn't what it once was. And I was like, I'm having a really hard time saying fuck this friendship and fuck this person because like the support is private. You ain't like when you do hit me up, it's on weird shit. Yet you still spending
Mhm.
time with other people.
It's a
Like, okay,
no,
we
America.
don't even fuck anymore. But you are the reason or one of the many reasons that I didn't have to take a grippy socks vacation a couple years ago. And so,
Okay.
and there's another friendship that's similar. This
But
person was my
America.
friend when I moved here and loved and supported on me, picked me up in that parking lot when I was crying over a nigga.
Mhm.
And like did
What
all
year
the
was that?
oh boy, let me see. Carry the one minus four. When I get my master's, I got my master's in 2015. Probably like 20 late, probably December 2015 of that person. And the other
Okay.
person would be me and Base are dating in 21. So 2020.
Okay.
So my thought is
So,
like, how do I just be like, well, fuck you, you ain't my friend no more?
but why does it have to be fuck you?
Mm,
Can't they just
Because
not be
I'm
your
very,
friend anymore?
they could be. And I think that's how I've been operating in the last couple of months, but that don't feel good enough for me.
mm.
But what is having to say fuck you doing for you? Does that make it easier to go through the grieving process?
I've been grieving the whole time. So I don't think it makes it easier, but I think it's more
Okay.
about I want you to know.
What do
No,
you
it
get
ain't
out of
fuck
that?
you. I need to have a conversation. That's
I
all.
was
Why?
about that's actually what I was just about to say. It just that situation sounds like it just needs to be a conversation.
I need to have a conversation. And I
What
was
are you
gonna
going
I
to
have
would
one
say?
today.
well, conversation with
Okay.
both just depended on where the 2015 relationship, that friendship is. But
Which
the
it
one
was still
2020,
good.
I would have a conversation.
well, the one who picked me up in the parking lot, that one was still relatively cool, but I just noticed like, damn, I'm doing all the reaching out, and like you and this other person who I thought was my friend, y'all always together, so you got the fuck time, you just
Right.
choosing not to
Not
do
with
it,
you.
but not with me. And so I feel like a
Right.
part of me is like, I just need to take that not with me. Like how if this was a nigga I liked, I would take it as it's not with you, and I would let
Okay.
you. But for friendships, I don't do that. I feel like you know how they say women
Hold
that
on,
get
hold on.
go
Is
ahead.
it that scarcity mindset?
No, because I don't
Mm.
feel like I. It doesn't feel like okay. You know how they say bitches will give a nigga a million chances, but only give a
Mhm.
friend one. I feel
Who
like I'm.
Yeah.
must they? Mhm.
I give a nigga it's the one and the fuck done. But friends, I'm like, I'll give you opportunity because I know we're human and things change and we evolve and da 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 da. But to the point of the scarcity comment, recently I had a thought, and Friendsgiving is coming up, and I had Friendsgiving last year, and my house was packed, and I was like, would my house look like that this year? It could, but would it look like that for the right reasons,
Right.
or would it look like that because I wanted it to look like it was a lot of people here. And that's
Right.
that scarcity piece that kicked in. Like, okay,
Yeah.
do I really want y'all here?
Mhm.
Or do I just want to say it's people here?
Right.
So there's a piece of that too. You're not wrong. You're right, girl. So I'm not gonna have no conversation. So fuck it. I'm gonna treat them like I treat these niggas.
So this is what I will say. This is what I'll say. If someone is doing stuff this year, like 3 months, like that is the last time that something has happened or something, then a conversation should be had. But if it's been like 6 months, like 6 plus, then it's like, what am I doing? Because if we've gone this long without spending time talking, connecting, then it doesn't feel like a priority. And so, do I really need to reach out to you and say, like, hey, I want to feel like a priority? Whenever there are people that will make you a priority without you having to have that conversation.
What if they've reached out to ask me or to say, like, I feel like something going on and we need to have a conversation? This is after I said, they said, well, you seem a little distant lately. Yeah, because I feel like some shit been real motherfucking weird, and I'll talk to you when I'm ready. And then they say, okay, well, I'm eager to talk to you because I want to know so we can make sure shit's straight. Then what?
Then you have a
Then they want to have that conversation.
But do I want to have a conversation?
oh,
Why
Because
don't you want to have that conversation?
because bitch, you know you shady. You don't need to talk to me about you being shady.
oh.
You
I
know
would
you
say
do
that.
questionable shit. Everybody know you do questionable shit. You don't need me to tell you that. You know that. What we talking about?
Well, you don't need questionable people in your life. So if you don't trust this person, then no, there's no reason to have a conversation.
But I don't
Right. True. So then it's
Agreed.
like, how do you
Like in my
get there
marriage,
to trust people without? Because if it's just like, let me cut you off, then that's easy and there's never no challenge. Ooh.
exactly. Let me take that back. I do trust people. That's not true. For y'all coming, I got I trust
Right.
people.
Because you trust me.
I do. I do trust people. But that's not completely true. But like when my back was fucked up, I literally was like, bruh, I got 3 people, which isn't bad. I saw a TikTok that said, find 3 people who would get up for you in the middle of the night to come to your rescue and don't ever let those people go. So I had 3 people that I knew for a fact that I could call on while I'm hobbling around.
Hmm.
But other than that, I don't know.
but
Hmm.
what more are you wanting or looking for? You just, you know what I mean? You read the tweet. The tweet said three. You have three. What do you
They
feel like
all
you're
fit.
missing?
2 of them are related, and the other one I lay down beside.
So she wants other people that are not family.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we got to count our blessings. Not everybody even has a three. Not everybody can call anyone in their family.
You're not wrong.
And yeah, and then when it comes
You're
to a
not wrong.
man,
Oh, you're right.
you know what I
Because
mean?
there's women
Somebody
that won't call their man because their man won't come up and help.
Correct.
that part, or there's women who got the black blown out one night. As people, I'm not gonna say women, back blown out one night, and then when your back goes out, ain't nobody to call. You know what I'm saying? Remember the episode where Samantha had to put her curtain rod up because she was sick,
Yes.
and all the men in her Rolodex, not one. Yeah,
Not
Yeah.
one of them rolled up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way that I've looked at relationships has just been, if you're not pouring into me, I'm not pouring into you. If I'm always reaching out to do something to hang out, like, no, you need to also be reaching out. And that's not a hard thing. We're all busy and quiet as kept. Like, I'm busy as fuck.
Right.
And so, like, don't do that. Don't be like, oh, I'm so busy. Like, yes, but if it's a priority, then we'll find a way. We'll schedule. Even if it's a month away, like we'll get it going, right? And I shouldn't have to question if we're friends. I shouldn't be leaving from hanging out with you, going over various things that were said or things that were done and questioning like what the fuck that was about.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
That was my confirmation right there.
yeah.
Yep.
I've had a few of those back in the day.
I got one right now. So that, yep.
Mm,
People show you in lots of ways how
They
they
do.
fuck with you.
yeah,
They do.
no, straight up.
And you can do like that TikTok that I sent y'all and walk past the red flags if you want to, right? But you can't get mad that you don't have a good, solid, supportive group if
Right.
you're ignoring the bullshit and you don't want to set those boundaries.
Mm.
We've
Mm-hmm.
been giving y'all the tools each week.
Right.
Set
Mm-hmm.
them boundaries. Get boss up, bitch.
Yeah.
What's your friend story, Jasmine?
Um, you know what? I can say that I relate to both of your experiences. And even in this season now, so my 30th being in late June, and that being a transitional period for me, and I was able to plan this fun weekend and had, you know, 20 people around me at dinner, friends ranging from fourth, fifth grade uh, through college. And being a military kid and moving around a lot, I didn't think like America, like I would have that either. So thankfully to Facebook, I was able to reconnect with my elementary friends. Um, but there was a lot of talking often and hyping up leading up to that. And then kind of after my birthday, it just, dwindled down and my cousin passed 2.5 weeks after that. And so
Oh.
it's been, it's been a ride. We saw your phone, girl. I was like, "Ooh, let me
America,
get to my lightness right while I
America is
tell this story."
hilarious.
I don't mean to be.
America is
It's the
hilarious.
slow, like, that's what
Realization. Oh.
you're doing great, sweetie. Um, so what what I've been dealing with is in this season in my adulthood, what am I taking and counting as friendships? Is
Mm.
it
Yes.
social media exchanges? Is it calling me? Is it I feel like I'm good at listening.
Hmm.
I sat here 52 minutes and like, listen to what y'all have to say. And I was like, yeah, in it. But not everybody.
I'm dead as fuck.
Well, damn. Okay. Touche.
But wait. No. I'm gonna circle back around. But you see how Jasmine like took a beat and was like, well, what's going on with you? I find in my real life that not everyone takes that beat. So we
Mm.
could sit on the phone for an hour for 45 minutes and
Hmm.
you vent and
Mm.
you know what I mean? And I'm that
Right.
friend that, you know what I mean? And so and the 45 minutes comes, you've like exhausted yourself, open and vulnerable. And it's like, oh girl, I'm gonna go fix myself a hot link. and like off the phone.
I'll
You know
talk
what
to
I
you
mean?
later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And so it then leads me to I talk to my mom a lot. You know what I mean? I'm also her only child. And so like that's who I call at the end of my day to be like, girl, what these crazy ass kids done did today, or when I'm sad or when
Right.
I'm crying or so I yeah. And I have friends that are in different places in their lives, you know. Um and yeah. And so it's hard for me to I grew up with a parent telling me when something was wrong in my friendships because like Jasmine, I was the egocentric, not egocentric, I'm sorry, the outgoing one and what be in a lot of different groups and involved in stuff. And then like drama would always happen and stuff. And so my dad would tell me, well, you know, what you do, what you do in the situation, you know, there's so much drama around you, maybe you are the common denominator. And so that was something that, you know, I dealt with in high
Mhm.
school, middle school, and everything. I also dealt with going to, you know, as parents get more successful and they can move you to different neighborhoods, and then, you know, you end up being the token. And so it's playing that role, but then also being yourself. I had the reverse experience. I came from a black and brown school and then went to,
Damn, don't
oh,
shoot me. He's not gonna play about you. You gonna know
and
that
then
he won't, which means
what?
he's gonna be intentional about the time that you're.
Oh, Barb, American Flakes. So,
Confused.
so I had the experience of like being myself. And ultimately, what I was taught as a child was to minimize yourself. And so when I got into these
Mm.
schools and I was, you know, loud and proud and being myself, and that was either, you know, you're put into the, you know, oh, you're just like that. So Raven, I know about black people. Or, you know,
Mm.
it just you don't get to like really be yourself. And then I
Right.
started learning how to just take the lesson of minimizing yourself and apply it to school, apply it to this. Then I got to undergrad and I experienced trauma. I was the only one of my
Mm.
friends that during our time in undergrad that I was sexually assaulted during a home robbery of my apartment that convinced my dad to let me move off campus, just like the 7 other black girls that I hung out with. They were all after sophomore year, parents were letting them move into apartments with each other. And I wanted so
Mm.
badly to like not be left behind living on campus that I had like, you know, just puppy dog guide my way into my dad agreeing to sign a lease. And I stayed for summer school because my parents were divorced. I didn't want to go back home that summer. And that was the summer living in an apartment with 2 strangers that our apartment got robbed and I was sexually assaulted in the process. And
What the fuck?
not I would say 1 out of 7 of those girls stuck by my side. But I had changed at that point. I changed.
Right.
And 1 out of 7 of them rode with me. And it wasn't that she was necessarily in the passenger seat. Sometimes, you know, not in the back seat, maybe in the car beside me or tailing. But 1 out of 7. And that was like the crew that like, you know, we Four Locos homecoming, like, you know what I
Oh,
mean? The
four
original Hot Girls with
locos.
your king.
Ah,
You know what
you
I
are
mean?
speaking my
So
language.
so yeah, I get your experiences. But then I also had a friend, and I would count her as my best friend, that met her at a function in college, and she was there in the middle of the night when I decided that I was going to pack up my stuff in large bag black trash bags and move out of the apartment that this assault had happened in, and like just into another one, middle of the night. And she showed up with this dude that she was talking to, and you know, and just helped me. And
Mhm.
so that's a friendship that like I value and I hold on to. And even though she's
Mm.
married and has a kid, um, I make sure that, you know, I drive the 2.5 hours to the baby showers, to the birthday parties.
Period.
I just, you gotta show up for people, because when I
You
was
do.
down and destitute, she showed up for me, and I
Right.
know that that is rare. And so, even though she has a life in her hometown, friends that she's known well before me, I don't let it also affect me that like she has a best friend. For me, she's my best friend. If I called her right now, broke down, she would stop what she was doing, you know? Um,
Mhm.
I will say that going into 30, there are friendships. There are people that were at my 30th birthday weekend that I don't talk to today,
Mm.
and those aren't, yeah. There was a friend of mine that he moved from another city into Houston, and I think the perception was like, when I get to Houston, girl, we gonna and, do all this, and that's not where I'm at in my life. I'm very much healing, and a lot of that healing, unfortunately, I isolate myself, and I think that's just an only child complex of like feeling like I
Mhm.
got to do things myself. And so while I built walls around me, I have been able to garner friendships, but sometimes in the isolation of your own walls, you do wonder, like, you know, why y'all can call me, hit me up, see how I'm doing. You know,
Mhm.
I would like to sit on the phone for 45 minutes with someone other than my mom or a
Yeah.
blood relative, and like
Mhm.
just ugh, you
Yeah.
know. So I just, that's something that I've been grappling with. Yeah, I had a friend that I went on their birthday trip with them this year, and they were at my birthday in the summer, and here we are a year from that trip last year, and it's like, yeah, I wasn't, I was cued in. Someone mentioned earlier about like the shadiness, right? So it's the talking
Mhm.
about the event around you, but there's no like direct invite to the event. So I'm not, unless it's like, these are the flights and this is what it's looking like, I'm not going to press it. And
Right.
in some instances, if you stop contacting someone and they don't reach back out, then if it's mutual, just let it be mutual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're grown. I don't have time for it. I shouldn't spend my time, my energy feeling uncomfortable around someone, feeling like a third wheel in a friendship. Um, my mom really was big on teaching me, if you don't make yourself sad or uncomfortable or all these things by yourself, then don't take it from being around someone else.
Big
And so if I'm
facts.
cool, calm, and collected in my own space, then I'm not going to come to your apartment, and, for a house party or do this or dinner and all this stuff. Um,
Right.
I will say that that particular friendship, when it weaned out, um, this person had made it a point that he wanted to, get together for cocktails and, have like a friend date and stuff and catch up. And we did that. And of course, it was after my cousin passed. And just kind of, let him know what was going on. And then, like, more people show up to the friend date. And it was like people I didn't know. And so I had opened up this
And I know
wound.
that you were cancer, and I know that you was
Yeah,
hot.
and I was like, "Oh," like, one person I had met, like, the year prior at an event, and the other person was just a complete stranger, and I had already, like, opened up this wound and been vulnerable with my friend on this, like, we hadn't spent time since, it had been, like, a month,
Right.
and so we sit down at this table, and I just, they're talking about, like, the latest escapade story and stuff, and I couldn't get into it. Like, I just talked about my dead cousin, you know what I mean? That was
I
like a
gotta
little brother to
motherfucking
me,
go.
and it's like, yeah. So I, like, went to the restroom, tried to, like, "Maybe it's me."
No,
Like,
I just would have been
Be
like,
normal, it's cocktail, like, this is, like, what I was doing, 3, 4 months ago, so, like, and I went and sat back at the table, and I was just like, "No, fuck this," and I went
yeah,
home,
dead ass.
and then got a text message, "Did you have a panic attack?"
Bitch, no, I
No.
didn't. You never prepared me that this was going to be a more friend date than us two. So I done opened up about some shit, and now you want to bring all these random motherfuckers over here talking about sex. I gotta go,
Oh,
bitch.
it was so, and it's reaffirming right now that y'all are like, you know what I mean? Because I just, okay. So I sent back a text. No, it was a panic attack. I'm real life grieving. And like, I can't do this right now. Haven't heard back since. I haven't text back since because what what is there to talk about? What friendship is there? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So for me, what's important is that I'm there for the people in my life when they need me. I am self-aware enough to check my own self. Am I, you know, doing what I want in return? But what's important to
Mhm.
me is who's there for you when you're not cutting up in the club. That's
Right.
what's important.
Because
That's yeah.
honestly, why are we still in the club? If it is not a birthday of significance, what
Yeah.
are we doing? Like,
Of
can we
significance.
never
I'm
do
so
that
glad it's
again, please?
yeah.
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 Um, as you get close to 30 and turn 30, you just are unwilling to deal with the bullshit that you were willing to for the sake of having this huge
Yeah.
friend group. I would rather have five solid people that I know where the fuck I stand, that love me out loud, that post
Mhm.
my shit, that let people know that they fuck with me,
Yeah.
than to have 20 friends that I'm constantly questioning. Are we friends? Do they like me? Like, what did they mean when they said this? Like, am I doing, like,
Yeah.
making me question myself? Like, my friends that I have in, what are we, October 2022, all encourage me to show up the big, bold bitch that I am.
Mhm.
None of them are like, oh, like, oh, don't wear too much, don't do too much. No. Everybody's like, show up, shine bright. And when I'm not feeling good, they make it safe for me to reach out and let them know that I'm not in a good spot and I would like to be comforted.
Yeah.
Can't hear a thing you saying.
Me? I didn't say it. I just said
No,
what?
America.
What do
Oh.
you feel like, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What do you
Mhm.
feel like you did differently to call those types of friends in for
Well,
people
one,
included needing to adjust?
yeah. So, one, I am a very spiritual person. I do the Palo Santo. I told y'all about my happy, healthy baby. I
Mhm.
also say like mutual friendship, mutually beneficial friendships, solid friendships. Like, one, I am cultivating that. That is what I'm focusing on. And I'm setting boundaries for what I expect out of a friend. So if
Mhm.
I am reaching out more than you are reaching out, I'm going to take a step back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What does there need to be a conversation about? We all have lives. I'm a parent and I have a full time job and I have a private practice and we podcast. Like, we're all
Mhm.
busy. Everyone has that phone and everyone be on their phone. So you could send a text and say, like, hey, I'm busy, whatever the case may be.
Or just
That
a check in.
A simple check-in.
Yeah.
Like, please check on your fucking therapist friends. Just because we appear to have it all together all the time doesn't mean that we don't benefit from y'all checking in and seeing how the fuck we're doing, because
Right.
sometimes no one does ask
Right.
outside of
Yeah.
our relationships, right? But
Mhm.
it's nice to know that your friends give a fuck. Don't assume that everyone is good all the time because you see that we're posting on Instagram.
Mhm.
Feel free to reach out to. And don't only use your therapist friends for
Free
venting sessions.
therapy.
Right, because the thing about me is that I do not like, I'm not gonna give you anything that I would give in therapy. I'll let you say what you gotta say, honey, and that's that. Like, I'm not about to sit up here and give you a free session. What I will say is, have you thought about getting a therapist? I could send you my therapist number. Cause no, I don't need no hours. I'm
Oh, I mean,
licensed.
hours.
I'm not working for free.
Touche.
No.
This ain't
You can
pro
Mhm.
always
bono.
tell me stuff. Right. And I will tell I'll and what I'll give you if you are in the wrong, I will one tell you like, bitch, you probably shouldn't have done that.
Touche.
But if you are needing like some, oh girl, no, you right. He did have you fucked up. Like I'll tell you that, but we're not about to go into like what you should do after, how
Mhm.
you should handle it.
Mhm.
No. So for me, it's just being intentional, right? Using my discernment, making sure that the friendships that I deem important also deem me important. Because
Mhm.
that's where the fuck I went wrong last time, thinking
Mm.
that someone had me at the same regard that I had them.
Mhm.
No, baby, my
Yeah.
ears are broke. You got to show me.
Yeah.
What you gonna say?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that's my thing too. Is like you got to show me, and then it made me think about last week or last episode or the episode before when I said when I like people, people don't even know I like them, and I was talking about niggas, but I just had a thought that like maybe people don't show up in certain ways sometimes because they don't think I need it or that I want it because I
Mm-hmm.
am very much like boop boop. But no, you're right. You got to show me. Don't text me and tell me shit that you can't post in your stories when you posting everything else. If you can
Right.
check on whoever and y'all can kiki and have cookies and dinner and lunch and shit, bitch, you can text me and ask me how I'm doing too. So it's the same thing. It goes hand in hand. If I can do
It
that for
does.
you with running a private practice, having 8 supervisees, 2 interns,
Right.
62
Like
clients,
you're fucking working.
you can,
You're
and this
fucking
bitch,
doing
you can
it.
do it too.
Like you're
Yeah.
fucking doing it. And
Yeah,
so I'm sorry. I deserve someone who wants to be there. I'm not about to beg you,
not about to beg you. You're right at all.
especially if I see that you're fucking capable. I'm just
Look at
gonna
other
take it.
people
I'm
in life that you
Everyone is
deem to
fucking
be,
capable.
but it goes back to what Jasmine with the E said too. You are capable of doing that with other people who you don't see as up here. It's what people
mm,
you see as right here or below. And
hmm.
so I think that has a lot to do with that too. But my
It
wheels just
does.
turning.
But the thing about that is like just because you see me as up here doesn't mean that I see you as down there.
Sure.
Right.
Get into it.
That's a you thing. I'm
That is a you
sorry.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm not taking ownership of that. That's something that you need to work out with your therapy. Because trust me, I don't see myself as better than everybody. Like, no, I'm a fucking
Nobody.
human. I
Right.
like,
Mhm.
please cut the
Yeah.
bullshit.
Immediately. Immediately. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are a lot
And
of
I'm
people
sorry.
walking around with that mindset, right? That,
Mhm.
and then they get in friendships, and yeah, it's just that simple.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some suggestions? Because I feel like I kind of gave some suggestions for like getting more intentional friendships. So, what are some suggestions you all have for people?
I would say be very clear in your friendships and the way you are in relationships. So starting off those friendships, talking about what your expectations are. Hey, this is what friendship looks like for me. This is what
Right.
I need in a friend. What do you need? And then having conversations about where y'all can meet in the middle. Oh, these are your
Hmm.
needs. Well, I don't think I can necessarily do those things, but this is what I can do. I think we're
Right.
oftentimes more intentional. Yeah, more intentional, or maybe we put more
More
pressure on
pressure.
romantic relationships. So we had those conversations, but we don't necessarily do that in friendships. And that's why I
Hmm.
think a lot of us, as we get older and we're evolving and things are changing, we start to have these friendship breakups because those expectations and understandings weren't had in the beginning. So just really
Right.
being willing to have those conversations with people.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what I will say, I want to piggyback off that real quick, is that the students that I helped, navigate their friend issue with, like, there was like, I need to have another conversation. I'm like, yes, that's what relationships require, communication. That's the only way to go through the shit. So, yes.
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
about you, Jasmine?
Oh, I agree with all of that. I also think, just like in every relationship, there is a degree of self-awareness that's required. So be aware of, one, communicating what you desire, but also just be aware of how you show up for other people.
Yeah.
And be comfortable with just asking, like, hey, what do you need? You know,
Yeah.
it's a relationship, and if it's important to you, ask your people in your life what they need from you, and be willing
Right.
to show up for them regardless of what that answer is.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I think also adding in there, like letting people know your love languages, right? Because if you receive love in a certain way, it would be helpful for you to let the people around you know.
Hmm.
Like if you just need some words of affirmation, right? You can say that instead of being like, damn, why doesn't this person tell me that they love me or anything like that. Like they just give me gifts or whatever the case may be. That might be their love language, right? But having that conversation and saying, like, hey, I would really love to hear that I'm doing well or whatever the case may be. And being open to having that person say how they receive love.
Hmm.
Woo, honey. This has been a good one. I mean, they all are.
Oh,
Can't speak on it.
you're not wrong. Okay, you're not
I'm
wrong.
not. I'm
I feel like
not.
bitch about depressed is definitely uh first thing out, but these cute ass titles should definitely go on some kind of mug,
Pin,
shirt, pin.
something. Yeah, we about to get it together. And by we, I don't mean me, because I can't add another thing to my plate. Well, I hope that y'all got something good from this conversation. And as always, just remember that you can drink the kale drink the alkaline water, take all your vitamins, do reformer Pilates like Jasmine. But if you're ignoring the shit going on in your head and in your heart, then you're still not truly healthy, baby. Go ahead and seek some therapy.
Sure.
Real talk.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.